right, it is July 29th, 6:30 p.m. We are live with This Fan's View. We got Carl, John, Lauren, Anthony, and myself. And today we are wrapping up 22 and moving to 23. John, what do you got?
Well, we had another record-breaking week this week with voting, 1,752 votes. Everybody who was complaining that it was rigged and everything, we got it right. The viewers stepped up and got it right. Rick Tocchet won with 744 votes.
And what sport did he play?
He played hockey. He played that game on ice.
Just checking.
So the hockey guy's leading right now?
Oh, the hockey guys are running away with it. Yeah, they're doing a good job with it. We have a lot of hockey viewers in our group. When we do our weekly polls and stuff, the hockey guys get the most action, as they did this week. So, like I said, we all have this game for fun, so it makes it all great. And you guys proved to know what you were doing, and the right guy won with Rick Tocchet this week. This week we're going to have another big matchup. Us Philadelphia. This is a little bit of a weaker number for the Philadelphia area guys, but and one mega star. But I think we might have a little bit of Philly strong love here to pull this one out for Philadelphia. But we have Greg Gross for the Phillies, 1980 World Series champion. He is the all-time pinch hit leader for the Phillies, fifth in Major League Baseball. And he had if it wasn't for him, we may not have had that 1980 World Series. He had one of the biggest hits.
Is that what you're going with?
Hey, I'm trying to pull something out here. We got to pull a couple hats out. We got a couple hats.
You're not pulling hats. You're pulling rabbits.
Well, hey, whatever we got to do. I mean, we got to stay Philadelphia strong. But if it wasn't for him,
I didn't mean to break your momentum.
Oh no, but his eighth inning bunt against Nolan Ryan broke the game open. Bases loaded there, and then they scored 5 runs to take the lead that inning, and then to go on to the World Series, and the rest is history, as they say.
That might get another vote.
Hey, we got. Well, like I said, we're stretching here a little bit today. We got for the Eagles, we have Troy Vincent, the 5-time Pro Bowler, the Eagles Hall of Famer. He had 47 interceptions through his career and 794 tackles, three defensive touchdowns. For the Philadelphia Flyers, we have that Oscar Lindblom, Oscar Strong.
Yes.
The gold medal winner for the under-17s in the Worlds, and the scoring leader that year, an all-star for that team as well.
Keep going.
He's got 134 games with the Flyers, 30 goals and 27 assists. And then we have for the 76ers, the local guy Joe Jellybean Bryant, went to Bartram High School. I think somebody else may have gone there as well. And then the LaSalle College was the first round pick for the Sixers in 1975. And had over 5,000 points and 2,400 rebounds and over 1,000 assists. And then we have another guy for the outsider, Michael Jordan.
Can I throw one thing in? It's yes. Kobe's father, right?
It is Kobe's father. I forgot to say that because that might lead into next week's. We might have our first father and son combination on the list here.
Okay, you go with that.
Well, as far as being nominations for the finalists.
Okay. All right, I got you. That's much better. Right. That's better.
Well, I'm not saying that he's going to win it. I'm just saying,
For a minute there, it sounded like you thought that somehow number 23 was going to go to Joe Bryant.
Oh, well, you never know. There's a lot of Bartram.
No, I do know. I do know.
So John, I got a question for you. Who is Jane Pearson Fisher?
Yeah, who's your big fan?
Yeah.
Who's your only fan?
She's a friend of ours from the Bull Show. She goes to a lot of the Bull Show.
You got a fan.
There you go.
Don't pick on John.
That's right. I got big shoulders. I can take it there. Don't worry about it. That's if you can't dish it out, you got to. If you can't take it, you got to. Whatever that saying is, you got to be able to dish it out and say it.
we got you all messed up, don't we?
Oh, well, you did. You got me all out. I had this whole script here ready to go, and you guys got me all messed up because everybody wanted to complain about the outsiders. How can we vote for the outsiders and they don't do anything with Philadelphia?
She's getting angry, John.
Yeah. It's all right.
Now she wants to fight.
Oh, it's all good.
All right, go ahead. Finish your campaign.
But Michael Jordan, he had a lot of milestones here in Philadelphia. He scored his 5,000th point, his 10,000th point, 15,000th, his 24,000th, and his 28,000th point. That's what he has a lot of milestones. A 6-time NBA champion, 5-time MVP, 14-time All-Star. Everybody else knows the rest. He has those shoes that everybody wants to wear, except for those rookie year ones that they give him blisters. I don't know whatever happened to them, but yeah, those are our 5 contestants for this week. So should have a nice little thing, and not to mention too with Troy Vincent, he was voted the best to wear number 23 in the entire NFL in history. So he's got that pulling for him.
And I guess he went to high school with Brian Brown. I don't know.
He went to Pennsbury High School. Yeah, he's a neighbor of mine. He went to Pennsbury High School.
All right, get it all out there. Come on, because he needs he needs some help.
Oh yeah, well, we got a lot of Oscar pull here. You'll see him. You'll see him with a lot of.
Yep.
We got Oscar Strong here.
Yeah.
So Mario, who do you have?
I think I'm going to be the first one. I'm going with Oscar.
Oh, there you go.
So I didn't see anybody else on the list that I wanted to vote for. So, and he definitely deserves it. So I don't think I need to explain other than that. He deserves it in my book.
There you go. Lauren?
Michael Jordan.
Straight to the point.
I mean, I'm going to get ridiculed regardless of what I say.
No, you're not.
Voting for Michael Jordan over Oscar. I get it. I get it. The guy battled cancer, won, is on the playoff roster. I get it. But he's not the best to wear number 23. I'm sorry. He's not. 10 years from now, that could be a completely different story. But given right now, in this moment, nobody beats Michael Jordan.
So
if that makes me a bad person for not voting for him, then so be it. If everybody wants to ridicule me for it, so be it. But the best player to wear number 23 was Michael Jordan.
Oh.
All right. Well, let me get ridiculed too then, because there's only 4 numbers that should be super easy.
Right.
Notwithstanding, all that great stuff about Oscar, but 21, 23, 42, and 99 should be all very easy numbers.
Do you think Jerome Brown's got that much pull?
Yeah, right. This is an easy Michael Jordan as of what is today's date? July 29th, 2020. That's an easy one.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong. I agree. Carl, who do you have?
Oscar.
I like the guy who just voted for Joe Bryant.
Yeah.
There you go.
And that's where I should be, because he's my guy. You know what I mean? But I'm a hockey guy, and nothing tugs at the heartstrings more than a guy beating cancer, and this is the year. So and I mean, I love Jordan. I watch Jordan. You know, there's a strong case, but you know, we got to pull for Oscar on this one. So,
Absolutely.
come on,
Yeah,
fans, let's go.
I think this is truly maybe the first one where you'll really see sort of Philly versus an outsider.
Oh, of course.
So.
It'll really kind of come down to Oscar and Michael Jordan.
And I'll tell you, Lauren, that's what did it for me. I didn't want to go outside again, so I decided to stay with Philly.
Yeah, absolutely. And if Michael wasn't in it, if the outsider thing wasn't a thing, 100% Oscar all day long. Just not up against Michael Jordan. Sorry.
Oh, I agree. But you know what, Carl, if it wasn't for you in Bartram High School playing against Jelly Bean, getting him ready to play for the college and then into the pros, maybe he may not have had a career. He may not have been on this list.
And I wouldn't be here to talk about it.
Exactly. So
it's all, you know what? It's all good. It's everyone's opinion, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We're having fun with this. We're having a lot of fun with it, actually.
Yep. There's no wrong answer.
You know,
well, I hope somebody clues Jack in on that soon because he gets awful feisty with these.
Well, he's already got his boxing gloves on. So
yeah, he gets real feisty on these ones.
Especially when there's a hockey guy that's going to, pop.
Well, there's always a hockey guy that's in it. You get
legitimate has a legitimate chance of, but yeah, no, I agree. And for myself, I got to go Michael Jordan as well. I mean, he's an icon, like Anthony and Lauren were saying. I mean, it's, there's not many numbers that you can think of and just throw out there and be like, who's a number? No matter if Philadelphia or not, it's that number. Yeah, everybody wants to be like Mike. So that's where I would go. Although Oscar, I think Oscar's going to win this one now.
I don't know. It's going to be tough.
I think it'll be dependent on how far the poll reaches outside of this area.
Yeah.
Outside of Philly.
We have 150 groups that it gets shared out to. It gets shared out pretty far.
Yeah. So, I mean, unless you're from the Philadelphia area and you follow this story and you've seen all the coverage,
I don't know that many people.
It doesn't. I mean, not that it doesn't mean anything, but it doesn't ring as close to the heart.
Right. Because
if this had happened to another guy on another team, none of us would care. Not the way we do with Oscar. You might feel bad for the guy. You might be happy for the guy. All that good stuff, but it wouldn't ring. It wouldn't pull at your heartstrings the way this one does if he played for some of the Red Wings. You wouldn't feel the same way.
Oh, no, of course. Yeah.
So it'll be dependent on how far the poll gets.
Can we bring up the night his uniform got stolen and he had to wear number 12?
Oh, so we should have had him in number 12 as well?
There you go, John. You missed that one. Man, I thought you were the king of stacking the deck, but apparently not.
Just saying.
Well, I mean, next week will be fun when Mike Schmidt gets to be put on 24 as well.
You do know that I have the same admin control you do. So when I see the X next to Schmidt and I click it, don't think it was a glitch.
Oops. Well, just saying. Red and Philly's got a lot of popularity. So,
Okay.
Just like throwing snowballs at Santa Claus, you gotta love the Philly fans.
That's right.
Gotta love the Philly fans. That's why we're here.
His number's retired up in Reading. It's a retired number.
It is.
Is that right, Anthony? Can you confirm that?
Yes, it is 24. Yeah.
I just don't throw out numbers. I just don't throw stuff out. I mean, you don't know how many people I had to fight with this week. You don't know how many people I had to fight with this week with 22. Schmidt never wore 22. And then I message him and send him the picture. Oh, you're right. Okay. That's a good choice then.
But he still doesn't even belong in the conversation.
But he would have been voted. He would have been written in.
Okay. We're not having this argument again.
We're not. We do have a lot of good stuff to talk
Until
about
next
today.
week when he shows up at number 24. Who's he going to go against?
Oh well, 24's got a lot of big names.
All right.
Willie
well, hopefully
Mays,
they dethrone him.
Kobe Bryant.
No,
Jeff
24
Gordon.
for Phillies.
Oh, for the Phillies, we got Mike Lieberthal, Tony Perez, Andy Semenuk, and Jerry Kuzman.
All right.
How
Well,
about Bob Dernier? What number was Bob Dernier? Didn't he wear 24?
what number
No,
was
I think he was 21.
21.
21. Bob Denier, he had the slide in the grand walk-off home run.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, 100%.
He gets up and he's smacking the dirt at
Was
2
I
o'clock in the
alive?
morning. Nah, probably not, because it was like 85.
Nope. All right. Well, speaking of baseball, so that started back up last Thursday. The Phillies started last Friday, and now they're not playing.
Until
so
Saturday.
you guys can dive into where we go from here. But what do you guys think?
3 games in and 5 days off.
Yep.
It helps when your pitching staff's not as strong. We can get our starters back up every once in a while.
Right.
So are they allowed to practice?
Right at the moment, I don't think they have been, because they've been going through the testing.
Right.
And now that they had the 2 tests, hopefully the next couple of days they'll be able to get a little bit of practice in. But as far as the first 2 days, they weren't practicing because of having to get tested. Yeah, they had to get cleared and stuff. So
they had to quarantine themselves for that time
Right.
being.
yeah, and they still technically might have to still be quarantining. So it's going to be a little bit of a hard time, and hopefully some guys have stuff that they can work on the side at home and do stuff. But
Right.
So is the plan to test the guys each day until Saturday and assume all of them come back negative each time?
Yes, that's basically the thing, because obviously, as you've seen with the Marlins, they had a 3 to 1 day, 4 the next day, and 8
Right.
one day, and then today they still had one guy test positive today after all that. So
Right.
I think they said like a 5-day heavy window that you have to worry about, and then hopefully it's after that it's a little bit. So I guess that's why they're holding off until Saturday to play. And
Makes sense. So
so-
Steve's saying he thinks they practiced today. I don't know. I did see a picture. I think John Clark posted a picture. And I saw a couple people out in the field. So I don't know.
well, a couple of those pictures are older pictures, but
That was my guess.
but they I mean, up in Lehigh they're practicing as far as the
All right.
the 30 guys. So which had had a couple new call ups today with Austin Listy and Adonis Mutina and Bryson Stott got called up, and Nick Montan as well. So
So
It's,
I've got a question. So
yes,
let's hypothetically, let's say they put the kibosh on the Marlins,
Mhm.
shut that team down 100%.
Like
How do they?
for the whole season, or what are you referring to?
Yes,
Yeah.
for the whole balance of the 6 games.
They'd have to redo the entire schedule.
Right.
The problem is it's going to,
You end up with an odd number of teams.
yeah, it's going to,
It's probably
It's-
more
it's-
work
it-
than
it-
that's worth.
it's going to, that stuff's going to keep happening when, there's not a closed environment. Like you just saw the NBA reported today, they tested all 300 and something guys. No one has tested positive since beginning of July. Hockey had 4,000 tests. No one has tested positive. You can't leave it up to the individual in regular society because they can't really regulate themselves as it is. So asking the players to get dropped off at a hotel, go to bed, come back, not interact with anyone, don't get a cup of coffee. I mean, you're sort of setting it up to fail. And then then when it does it, sort of, what they've done is sort of screw the Phillies, because if you only have that amount of games to play in that amount of days, at some point there's going to be double headers. If this or you have a Marlins lineup that's not a legitimate lineup. Like those are horrible players, and it's just not fair. I don't personally see it going more than another week or two, even though that stinks because I am really enjoying it, like the games themselves. But I just don't see how it can possibly continue with an open environment, as much as I would like that more than any other sport. If you don't have a closed facility, I don't know how.
Well, if you look at it though, Anthony, they got no other positive tests in Major League Baseball other than
it takes 14 days, but it takes 14 days potentially. So just because
I understand that for the Phillies, but I'm just saying may affect the Phillies. But in all of baseball, how you're saying it may not work. I mean, everywhere other than the Marlins and now obviously the Phillies because of playing that game.
Right, but
if it wasn't for the Marlins going out to the strip club, and
we're 5 or 6. Right, but that's the only story we know. We're 5 or 6 days in. What happens when it's the day before the playoffs? The Phillies are supposed to be in the playoffs, and Rhys Hoskins or Aaron Nola get it.
Right.
Then everyone's not going to be very happy. So, no one seems like they have a real idea of what to do when this happens, other than let's try to figure it out. Well, you should have thought of that beforehand and went to like 2 facilities or areas where it was closed. If something's closed off to the public and something's wide open, obviously the things that are closed off, those guys haven't been testing positive. So I hope it doesn't. I hope there's no one that gets it. But the likelihood of it happening increases when you're not sort of secluded from all the outside elements, like a maid that might have it at a hotel, or the lobby guy, or the guy at Starbucks, or the other million places you can go to. It's just, I don't know. Maybe it sounds pessimistic, but it seems very difficult.
I do. I think also this might help it though as well. It opens up eyes and says, "Hey, this could easily happen. Look how quick it happened to the Marlins." And supposedly I was listening. I don't forget which team it was that they have like the whole hotel set up for themselves, and like they have like an out on the roof. They have a little party set up like area up that they can all congregate up there and on top of the hotels and just interact with each other. So socially distancing, but be able to be outside up there and mingle and not strictly in their hotel room itself. I think it'll work out fine. And you're going to have a few. I don't think it's going to get to this extent as the Marlins did. But you might have a couple of tests here or there. But
so what are your thoughts on the Marlins forfeiting all of their games? So the teams don't travel to Florida. That eliminates that, and the Marlins don't play. You forfeit the games, the teams get the wins, and you move on.
Right. Well, and that could possibly happen. And the other thing too is like with these games that are, that haven't played or been canceled. Other than maybe the Marlins, if you do that, because the Phillies are now playing the Yankees next week, they might they're not going to go off of records. They're going to go off of the win percentage. As far as to get your playoff teams, if teams are missing, so they're not going to make up these games too much because of this. Because you're not going to be able to make up 4 to 5 games without like I said, having multiple double headers and stuff.
I'm not a huge fan of that.
Well, it's happened before in baseball in a few years. I mean, there's been a bunch of 3 or 4 years that the baseball has gone off of the win percentage. It is what it is. And they haven't said that yet, but they also came out today that if they don't get to play games that they missed because of this, the players will get paid for those games. So that's kind of putting it out there that's what's going to probably happen. And
well, because it's beyond their control,
right? And like you said, it may happen where the Marlins, because they screwed up themselves and were irresponsible. Well,
right.
Go home. You got 16 guys. I mean, they're pulling guys off the street, like Anthony was saying. You're not going to have a competitive team, that with the way it's set up. They just picked up Logan Forsythe from the Phillies that was let go. He's a good player, but they're looking for guys that they can bring in, put the other guys off the 40-man roster for an illness or on the IL stint, and then drop those guys as soon as they get them back because they most of these teams that have the 60 players are using it as the developmental stage for right now instead of actually guys that'll be playing.
All right, let's back this bus up a minute because you've already got Washington, telling MLB they're not going to Florida.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
and baseball already said they weren't.
That's the bigger. That's what we should think about. That's the bigger concern going forward. MLB is going to always want to play it so they can get the TV money and all that stuff.
Sure.
But as soon as the governor of California or the governor of New York, any place that has multiple teams, as soon as they say you're not coming into my state, if you can't go into California, that's it. Every other state's going to say I'm not doing that either. So you just really need one Democratic governor to say we're not doing this, and then. What do you do? I mean, you can't. Everyone can't go to their minor league facility. You see with Toronto and Buffalo, you need all brand new lights. They're going to use the Sabres facilities because they don't want to use the AAA facilities. I mean, like I said, I want it to happen more than anyone else that we play, but it just I don't know. I guess we'll see over the next week or two. I hope at this point next week there still haven't been any positive tests. And we can keep going. I'm just scared that one of these, as Carl was saying, an elected official is the one that says we're not playing. And then if you're the commissioner, you have literally no pull at that point because you need places for people to play. So that's the major concern going forward. I knew when Major League Baseball met that they weren't going to cancel it. I mean, now if it was 12, 15 players on the Yankees, 12, 15 players on the Dodgers, maybe that would have been different than the Marlins. I don't know. But that hasn't happened. Hopefully it doesn't. But it's just, I hope we can get through another week or two. It would be great.
Oh, yeah. No, I think so. And then, like I said, with them already, as Carl was alluding to with the, maybe the Marlins are going to get pushed aside. The Phillies were supposed to play the Marlins Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or whatever it was. And those games are scratched now, and now they're playing the Yankees in that spot. Which, they said that the Marlins are quarantined right now until Sunday, but obviously it must be further than that because they're not allowing them to play next week as well. So,
they're not playing next week?
Well, the Phillies, they were supposed to play the Phillies. So if they're not playing the Phillies, that means that, they're not playing.
Right. Because we're going to end up playing.
Because we're playing the Yankees now.
Right.
So, I don't know how that affects the schedule, but I mean, if they're not playing those games, that's gonna be 2 weeks that they're not playing. So they're not going to be able to, make up and, like the MLS has done it in other soccer leagues, teams had a forfeit, it's the way it is.
I would not want to be the person making the schedule right now because it's subject to change every day.
Well, it could, but in this situation, all you're doing, like Carl said, you just forfeit the games, and the teams get to win, and you move on from there.
I mean, that would be the better way to do it instead of trying to juggle everything around, and then who knows? You get who knows what at the end of the season. I don't know.
Well, yeah, and Joe on here makes a good point. Like I said, if you get to one of these big series that actually matter, not that these games all don't matter, but if you get to a World Series and Garrett Cole's not in there or Aaron Nola can't pitch for you,
yep,
you're not going to be happy if you're one of those fans. So it just kind of it doesn't feel good when you see the other sports kind of doing it in a way that makes sense. And as we get closer, I guess this will sort of figure out what happens potentially with football because that's not necessarily closed off either. But maybe you have to figure out a couple quadrants of the country to put teams in, which is harder because you only play once a week and those guys can't move around as much. I get it, but you just see how more, positive things have been for the teams that are in a bubble.
And you don't have a lot of them, but you do have football players backing out already.
Oh,
can't say I blame them. It's their choice. But, if that happens more and more, then you're going to end up with the same situation.
Mm-hmm. No, it will.
So, but if you were to do that with baseball, what 2 or 4 areas could you do it in?
Well, I think the governor of New York today actually said you could have all the teams play in New York if you wanted to. Now, that's easier said than done. You'd have to find a facility that's set up where it has multiple fields, which you
What's
can.
that Cooperstown field look
Like in, yeah, like in,
Right.
I'm not saying this would be the answer, but like Cooperstown, New York, a setup like that where there's tons of fields. Now that wouldn't work obviously because you don't have a facility built there to hold that many people. But if there was like a big baseball playing facility with multiple fields in a state that the numbers are already low, that's one thing. But I don't. It's too late at this point. They should have thought of that stuff before.
Right.
But that's essentially what they should have done. And there's still time for a football. I'm sure they're looking at Major League Baseball to see what happens here before they decide to put all their games on the road too. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah, well, I mean, like you said, as far as the governors and stuff, I mean, the Washington Nationals are having a hard time right now getting Juan Soto back into the lineup because he finally tested positive or negative for two times in a row, and so he's cleared by the Major League Baseball, but the governor of Washington is not in D.C. There is not giving him the approval to play because he hasn't quarantined the 14 days like he should have.
And that's the thing to consider too. Just because the guy's test positive a couple times. Say you did it 2 days in a row, that still leaves you with 12 potential days that it could pop up. So,
Well, that happened already.
Major League Baseball is saying you could play, and they would probably, if Washington allowed him to play, the official or whoever it is, they could still take you out at any point if it looks like that you had it. It comes up positive that you had it 8 more days in, and then you got to test all those people that you had played with for the last 8 days. So. It's just like a domino effect, and it just, I don't know.
But John, didn't you say that he tested negative and then tested positive again?
Well, yeah, he had 6 positive or negative tests. I keep getting positive and negative, but it's negative, which is good. And then you have to get 2 in a row tested negative, and he would get a negative, then a positive, then a negative, then a positive every time he would do his testing, in which leads to maybe some of the testing is not as accurate as it should be. Which you kind of lends a little bit of question in there as far as that, because you can't have that because you got a star player like for the Washington Nationals that's in limbo here because he may or may not have technically have it,
right?
Even though he's tested positive or negative there, and so
How does the mayor get to call the shots, though? That part I don't quite understand.
They're in charge of that. I mean, the health and the safety of the people in that city, so they can.
Right.
You have a pulse on every single other citizen of Washington, D.C., that he knows that a person who's now tested negative but had it is not going out into the community and is staying at home for 14 days because he's the same as any other citizen would be.
No, I mean, I'm sure he doesn't know that, but he knows this. So what do he can't control that. He doesn't know.
But if Major League Baseball set the rules that said when a player tests negative twice, they're released.
But Major League Baseball doesn't rule the state
but the guy's
or
also
governor
not
that you're
going
in.
out into the public to interact with
Well, he is.
millions of
He
people.
obviously did. He got something. He obviously went somewhere because if he stayed put, he wouldn't have gotten something. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. That's why the situation that they're in makes it very, very difficult to proceed with that, go throughout the whole year without multiple people getting out. The day that a big name, Trout, Harper, whoever gets this, it's going to be end of the world locally. You know what I mean? So I'm just giving a heads up now that there's a very real potential that could happen. And it's scary.
Well,
So-
but the thing is, though, how accurate can it be?
How come you didn't name any
We
pirates?
already had it. We already had it.
They'd have to have a few big names.
We already had it. I mean, we lost those games without that player. So yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So,
I'm sorry.
Lauren, I think to answer part of your question, there are certain states where if you fly in there, they make you sign something, and then you're supposed to self-quarantine. So how do they police that? They can't. They really can't do that. But this is one person. So now that they know it, they're going to make him sit there for 14 days.
Right. They can't
And
see
plus
everybody
he's
else.
on TV.
Right. Right.
Plus, he's on TV up there batting 4 times a night.
Right.
And I guess what needed to happen was that needed to be worked out between Major League Baseball and the mayors or the governors of these states ahead of time that made it who rules the land here. Because now all of a sudden the mayor wants to step in and say, hold on a second.
But those people always rule the land. That we're playing.
And I understand that.
we're
So that's
playing-
why there
we're-
should have
we're
been some
play-
type of agreement.
We're playing a game within a country and states the people in charge of the country and the states have the ultimate rule. So they can tell you at any point you can't if it doesn't. But everyone.
But that seems like a surprise to Major League Baseball, who should have had that sorted out before the season started.
There's a lot of stuff they should have sorted before the season. They go playing in 2 locations, but that didn't happen either. So,
but that's also part of the problem too. Major League Baseball doesn't have the proper parts. Try to say it nicely. They should have stepped in. They knew the Marlins had 3 or 4 guys tested positive on Sunday, and they still let them play.
That's what I don't get.
They should have stepped in and because the Marlins players all voted we're going to play. Well, of course they're going to play because they know that's going to be their last game. So let's just play. And then they throw all the pressure onto the Phillies to say, hey, well, we got these guys tested positive.
Did the Phillies know that ahead of time?
Yeah,
they did a little bit, yeah. But that's why you saw Harper wearing the mask and
Well, and I think that's why now I think the rules are going to be a little more strict. I don't think you're going to have that option. Like if you text the other player that you want to play, you can't do that. You have to tell whoever knows, and they should have shut it down immediately.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it should have because you put the Phillies in a position to be screwed up by saying if we're not going to play, then we have to forfeit. Because the Nationals or the Marlins wanted to play, so that that led them to they have to say, okay, we're going to play. Where the
but that shouldn't even be a choice.
Well, of course, but the commissioner didn't step in and say, guys, this game's canceled right now or postponed, and get this under control.
Well, earlier this afternoon they had Adam Silver of the NBA talk, and the guy on CNN, I think Wolf Blitzer, asked him, what would you do if you had a similar situation? And without sort of calling out Major League Baseball,
he called out Major League Baseball.
Wolf Blitzer said if you had a situation where you had 12, 15 guys test positive, he said we'd shut it down. I don't care how much money we're making, we'd shut it down. So that just kind of shows you the different people that we're talking about right now. It
shows you where their priorities are.
And because it's also 3 games into the season when this all happened, basically the first weekend. They had, all weekend long, they've been having guys testing positive that they didn't want to shut it down before it really got started, which, they should have done something strictly with the Phillies and Marlins games and then go from there. But
of all the teams that the Marlins had to be playing.
Had to be us, right? Yep.
Yeah. And not that I knew on Sunday that the Marlins guys had it, but I was getting a little bit pissed on Sunday when watching the game when like Saravelli would go to first base and he's laughing and smacking Rhys Hoskins on the butt and Aguilar was doing it as well and like almost like they were trying to give the Phillies the virus maybe because they knew there was a lot more animosity between the 2 teams as well. Not that they always isn't a little bit more of a rivalry there too, but. And maybe it was because they knew, hey, you guys got the virus and we're playing and we shouldn't be really playing this game. And it was,
hey,
it was
John,
a little. Yeah.
John, have you been drinking too much water today?
I did. I have.
You've been drinking way too much water today, right?
I have.
Seriously?
And I didn't get my nap either.
You're going with.
And I didn't get my nap.
All right. I just want to clear it up for the people. That's all. I just want to, We're going to get a lot of backlash over that.
Over what?
What you just said.
What?
That Saravelli smacking Hoskins' butt and the other guys talking to him. And come on. Seriously?
You didn't see the first 2 games? What do you mean?
No. Come on. They were totally clueless. You know what I mean? The guys that had it were the guys that should have been separated right from Jump Street. You know what I mean? You can't blame the other guys.
Well, 2 of the guys killed us all weekend long that had it. Rojas and Anderson. And then Alcantara, the starting pitcher opening day. They all knew.
Can we talk about something positive?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
No, the next topic is the Dodgers and the Astros. We can't talk about
Yeah, how about that? I love
Did you
it.
see? Did you see Joe Kelly got 8-game suspension?
I think that was the best 8 games. Well, I get in a normal year it'd be the best 8-game suspension. It stinks to not have them for that long, but they're already making T-shirts of it. Could you imagine what this would have been if you could actually have fans in the stadium? Every single place they went would have been bad. Every single, they would have. Now everybody's going to throw at them because someone started it. You know what I mean? And it's their own fault. I mean, that's all I can say.
Yeah.
But the manager only got what? The manager only got 1 game. I thought they were. I thought it was hand in hand. You know what I mean? The manager only got 1 game.
Well,
it's technically only 1 game for Kelly as well. He's a starting pitcher, so he's only missing 1 game.
Well, yeah, he's gonna.
The Dodgers will have served more of a suspension than the Astros did. So let's talk about that for a second.
Right.
So,
Oh, of course.
I talk about the commissioner dropping the ball nonstop. I mean,
yeah, but there's nothing you can do retroactively to punish them. What are you going to do retroactively? You didn't know about it till after. You can't take it away. Everyone knows.
No, not at all. I went to Penn State. I lived through 2012. You can punish those retroactively. 100%.
Yeah.
I witnessed it.
How many games did we lose there, Lauren?
How's that different?
Well, Major League Sports. We're not talking about college programs.
But we're talking about punishing people after the fact.
I didn't say that was okay either.
I'm just saying. They can obviously do it. The NCAA, I witnessed it, saw it.
Well,
They punished people retroactively that had nothing to do with it.
I don't-
These guys still play on the team.
I don't think we're talking about the most proactive league of all time. I don't know if you know what we're talking about.
You said you can't be punished proactively. Retroactively.
Everyone knows. What are you going to do? What are you going to do at this point?
I'm just saying the Dodgers will have served more of a suspension
Sure.
than the cheating Astros did.
Sure. And they'll keep.
But they can't be punished because we found out after the fact.
Well, what would you like to happen?
Them to be punished.
How so?
Take their World Series ring away.
Everyone knows that they didn't win it legit. What are you going to do?
Well,
Who are you going to give it to?
But that doesn't mean anything. There's no asterisk. The ring is still there. They're still the champions. I saw the banner, the stupid flag.
I'm glad I'm not there tonight.
Don't tell me a team can't be punished after the fact.
You just sound salty because of Penn State. I don't know what's come up for me.
Oh. I'm not sure where you wanted to sleep tonight, but I'm not salty about Penn State, but if you're going to tell me a team can't be punished after the fact, then that should be across the board. If the NCAA can get it right, but the baseball can't,
Well, then have that guy.
then they deserve to fail.
Then have that guy in charge of baseball. I can't control who's in charge.
Anthony, I'm an hour and a half away if you need to.
Thank you.
I'm not salty about Penn State, but let's play fair and square here, folks. You want to punish Penn Staters years after that shit happened. These Astros, that stuff came out weeks after.
I didn't do it. Why are you yelling at me?
Because you're the one who's telling me that they can't do it. So you're the next best thing.
All right.
There go our ratings.
So anyway, with the Eagles news,
But there's not one person in the comments right now that says they agree with him. So I'm just saying.
No.
If you were right, they would agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
He's a
so
pirate.
we got to see.
What do you expect?
We got to see and hear from Jalen Hurts this week. It was nice to hear from him, our second round pick,
Who?
Jalen Hurts.
Good segue, John.
trying to get reflect here a little bit.
What the hell's a Jalen Hurts?
He's a second round pick that was wasted, but.
Oh, William, I'm not even married to him yet. Settle down.
But yeah, no, it was interesting. And so much for you can't go out there brawling either. We already had two brawls this year in 5 games. So
Yeah.
You're getting yelled at by mom.
What else is new?
We're an hour apart. How am I supposed to get control? I'm trying to separate them, put them in separate rooms.
He started it.
Geez. Let's talk. Hey, John, come on, seriously. Let's talk hockey. Come on.
Absolutely.
Flyers hockey beat the Penguins yesterday. Come on.
Very nice game. Very good game in overtime. Very nice. Carter Hart looked good. The team looked pretty good as well. I mean, they looked pretty crisp. You really didn't see too much of a rest factor there after coming back for being off so long.
No, they definitely had their legs. They look good. They look real good. But
I mean, the passes were nice. I mean, especially that one for the game winner. Was it Konechny that slapped it? Passed it all the way up there to Lindblom, or not Lindblom?
Yep.
No, Lawton.
Scott Lawton.
Yeah,
Scott
and they got it up to Lawton, and Lawton put it in the basket. So yeah, no, it was a very good good win.
It was awesome.
They looked really, yeah.
And the season starts Sunday at 3:00.
3:00 against Boston.
The big bad Bruins all gets underway.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, it's definitely looks good. Like I said, I mean that was the one thing I was afraid of with them. Since they were so hot coming into that stretch there, and then going into that layoff. They look pretty good. And the Penguins are a team that got healthier themselves, and they need stuff to play for. So, this was just a little bit of a warm up for the Flyers, but to see them battle through that and win it in overtime was nice. So yeah, it was very good. Very good.
So AJ Williams, who's a contributor sometimes to the show, Ilka Sinisalo, there's no one else. That's his boy.
Oh, yeah.
Ilka Sinisalo, that's his boy. So we'll give some recognition there. We need to.
Oh, absolutely. No.
It's Oscar's night. Oscar Strong. I mean, come on. I mean, he made his way back to the roster. I hope he gets to play. That'll be exciting.
Yeah. Oh,
that'll be exciting if he gets to play.
So here's a question. I didn't have a chance to see the game. What was it like without the fans there? Any different?
No. I mean, again, I don't notice anything with the fans. When I watch sporting events on TV, I just focus on the game. I mean, the fans, it doesn't matter. I mean, it might help the players themselves a little bit to give them a little extra energy and juice.
Could you hear them?
Game. Well, there's nobody there, so you can't hear it.
No, could you hear the players talking to one another?
I mean, you could hear a little bit more. I mean, not the chatter, but I mean, you could just hear, the passes and a little bit more crisper that way.
Gotcha.
But not the chatter back and forth with the players because they're not mic'd up or anything.
I heard them complaining about the ice, so I guess the ice wasn't very good in Toronto. So they were complaining about that. Yeah, and that's probably only going to get worse, especially if they're playing 3 games a day.
Right.
Right.
So I guess they need to chill the place a little better.
Yeah, I guess you probably would want to have that first game.
Well, what I think the stadiums are now doing, they're using ad advertising to cover the seats, so you don't see the blank seats.
That makes sense.
Which I think is pretty cool. So
yeah,
we got sports back. We got to get baseball straightened out. We got to get football straightened out. But hockey and basketball seem like they got it figured out.
Yeah.
Does the NFL not have proper protocols in place that guys are starting to opt out of the season?
It doesn't look like
it. They do. They all agreed on it. The Players Association and the NFL, they did agree to it. But the NFL is a little bit more. They have a little bit more issues as far as players being susceptible to the virus with guys if they would get the virus, like the linemen. A lot of linemen have CPAP machines already for sleep apnea. So if they get it from that, they're that much more of a risk. So yeah, there's a little bit more risk as far as the players themselves, even if it was like say a baseball, with just because of how big the players are. with some health issues type of thing. So that's why you're seeing some of the guys concerned.
So Lane Johnson was one of the Eagles who tested positive.
Yes,
And
Lane
I believe
Johnson.
I saw,
Yeah, and Nate Gary as well, and Salamalo.
and I saw Lane Johnson inside a Reader's water ice truck last Thursday or Friday, giving out water ice to some healthcare provider over in Jersey.
Did he have a mask on?
He did have a mask on, yes.
Well, then there's a little hope.
There's a little-
I just when I heard that, that's the first thing I thought of.
right.
You know?
Well, I mean, the guy from the Nationals, what's his name that tested positive? I'm sorry.
Juan Soto.
Soto.
Right. Has anybody else gotten it?
He's the only one in Major League Baseball other than the Marlins.
So, I
and-
mean, there's a
and-
good, he played by the rules. He could have gotten it, accidentally somehow without even trying to, disobey the rules. So if he had his mask on, hopefully not many people become infected from that.
Right.
And to be honest, I don't even know if Juan Soto really had the virus.
Yeah,
from the way the test results are coming back, if he's got 6 positives and 6 negatives, within the same days, I don't know how you can say he has it.
Yeah, but you got like somebody had mentioned on here before. You got false negatives and false positives all over the place.
Well, of
So
course.
who knows which one's right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He may not have the virus. I mean, he may,
Right.
but it's just a matter of whether or not he actually does, and that's part of the problem with the players not knowing, especially with the Marlins now, and then a guy like Juan Soto, if he's being held out, like Anthony was saying, if this would happen to a Trout or a Harper or
Right.
whoever, that's Juan Soto is a pretty big star himself in Major League Baseball, but he doesn't have the years involved like a Trout or whatever. But look at the way the Nationals started; they're 1-4 right now, so they wish they would have him in his lineup.
So to go back to hockey, Jack wants to know if we know how many NHL players opted out, if any.
I don't know of any.
I haven't heard of any.
I
either.
haven't heard any reported.
I'm guessing that's why he posed the question.
Yeah. No, I haven't heard any opt out there, and they haven't had any positive tests either. So since they've been up there, so.
So there you go, Jack. There's the answer to your question. None.
Which I'm thinking he knew, like Lauren
Oh,
had suggested.
I thought he was an outsider. I didn't know.
He's just showing how tough hockey players are versus
Yep.
other sports.
Making a point.
But no, it's one of those things. You just got to be smart, but like I said, it seemed like the Major League Baseball itself dropped the ball, in this situation. But
All right, I'm going to ask the $2 question. How can that happen? How can that happen?
arrogance.
Stupidity?
Well, that too.
I feel like I heard somewhere that there's like a 134-page document about how Major League Baseball was going to handle this whole coronavirus situation, and not one page talks about what happens when there's an outbreak in one of the clubhouses.
Well, that's because they're all blank pages. It was only the first page in the back.
So was there just the assumption that like it just won't happen?
Well, it was the
Guys
arrogance.
will all behave. No one will ever go anywhere they're not supposed to.
Yeah.
Well, and you saw that bench clearing thing yesterday. Those guys weren't socially distant.
Right.
Because it says positive today doesn't mean that.
Some of them put their masks on though as they were getting closer.
Yeah, right. But it doesn't mean that 30 guys tomorrow don't have it. And then what do? You know what I mean? It's just you just can't control it when it's not in a bubble, and it's going to happen to football too unless you figure that out. I don't know how to avoid it.
Well, I think
So-
football might have the best. They're probably in the best situation right now because they get to watch
Sure.
what
Right.
happens with these other three sports
Sure.
and just sit back and learn from it before they make the same mistakes.
Yeah, but they've dropped the ball just as bad as baseball because, like you said, they have the longest to wait. and they just waited till just this past week to make agreements with the Players Association. As far as guidelines and
they're going to want to push. They're going to want to push that season through more than anything because that's big dollars right there.
Yeah.
So that season's going to happen no matter what. I would imagine.
Yeah,
of course.
I think they're still tossing up whether they're going to have fans or no fans in the stadium.
Well, I think they should stop wasting their energy on that one and just focus on how to actually make the game happen at this point.
That would make sense. But as you saw with baseball, I think with that, it was, well, if we follow this, we're not going to have this problem, which leads back to being arrogant.
All right. Well, that's the whole thing, and it's all the arrogance and the greed that they want. All they want is a TV contract,
right?
And in NFL it's a little harder because guys have a playing career of 3 years. For most guys, is their playing career. So you lose a year, and it's.
So there we go. We got 6 NHL players who have opted out for the season.
There you go.
So.
Sorry, Jack.
So they're not as tough.
But Jack may have a report that 7 have tested positive. You know what I mean? Whereas in William is telling us that 6 have opted out.
No, I think Jack is saying that 7 opted out.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So,
and
right.
Will is saying 6. 6, 7 doesn't matter. It's not 0.
Right.
But talking about people opting out, did you see Nick Markakis is opting back in?
Yeah.
And playing. He's going to play now with the Braves. So that just goes to show how baseball players are strong too. There, Jack. They're opting back in, even after an outbreak. They're jumping back in there. But no, yeah. I mean, he's coming back, and yeah, it's. I mean, obviously it's scary times. I mean, all the sports now have jumped into the deep water, feet first. So they're going to have to go with it now. And they're just biting the bullet and, kind of using the guys like cattle. And unfortunately, it's, going.
Don't try to play nice now.
Woo. But,
what happened? What happened? What I missed?
Anthony was trying to rub her shoulder.
He was trying to make nice, but we got another 4 hours of a grudge before that happens.
I got a word of advice for you there, AP. I think you should take her out to dinner.
We already had dinner.
Oh, take her out for a walk in the park. I don't know, something. Better do something.
Find a park nearby then. Oh, goodness. All right, fellas, time for the takeaways. John, what do you got?
Well, as we just see with baseball, we got to make sure we all take it all very seriously, player wise, and because as we here in Philadelphia see, I mean, we got a little taste of it, and now we're missing it again for 5 days, and then sports are still going on, so that makes it even that much worse as games are being played and our teams sitting home, not being able to play. So hopefully this works out. I believe it will. That we'll be able to get this in, and like we were saying earlier with Carl, I think the Marlins may be a team that's going to be sacrificed, unfortunately, for this year, and just go forward from there, and which will help benefit the Phillies because we have a harder time. That'll be 7 more wins that we can get on our schedule. That'll be left to go, but no, just hopefully, fingers crossed that baseball stays on track and we get to see this go through, and we're gonna have an exciting season with hockey and basketball as well. So,
Dad.
Good.
Well, I'm all hockey tonight, so I voted for Oscar Lindblom, number 23. Hopefully, he comes through and can put the big upset on the board because that'd be pretty cool. But my main takeaway is I'm hoping to see everybody Saturday at Carl's Cards for the baddest bully on the planet, Dave the Hammer Schultz. Will be here from noon to 2 o'clock. So I'm all hockey. I'm all hockeyed up. We've had a lot of major announcements going on with signings, so we're back. And we're going to get it right. I can guarantee that we will get it right, and we'll make everybody safe here at the store. So come on out and see Dave the Hammer Schultz on Saturday.
Beautiful.
Anthony, anything to say for yourself?
Yes. So, I hope we can keep playing baseball as long as we can. That would be great. Everyone wants that.
Sorry.
Hopefully, no, absolutely not.
0% chance that happens.
No. So let's hope we can keep playing baseball. And I know we didn't get to talk about it much, but the Sixers were exciting to watch in the exhibition game. So I think they can go pretty far in the East. I don't know when you get to those West Coast teams, but I'm excited to watch them a little bit for the first time in a while. So that's about it.
Great.
My takeaway for the night is as these players opt out, so these football guys, the 7 hockey guys that did, however this kind of transpires as time goes on, I hope that they make some type of donation, some type of impact to what's going on worldwide then throughout the country right now, because there are people who couldn't opt out of their job and still get paid. Frontline people who never had that opportunity. And they were right there in the very beginning when we first got hit with this, that no one really knew what we were battling exactly. And they couldn't just opt out. They couldn't just call their boss and say, I'm out, family first, sorry. So I hope that they use that money wisely and make some type of impact in their community with those funds, realizing that there are thousands, if not millions of Americans who couldn't just simply say, I'm not going to play this year, but thanks for the offer, and still get those paychecks. So I hope they realize where their bread's buttered.
Very cool.
All right. Leaves me. I'm going to say a couple things. One, it felt really good Friday night to go out and sit somewhere, have a beer, and watch baseball. Wasn't the best game to watch, but it was still nice. On more of a personal note, it was good to see my niece Gabrielle. She came in from Colorado this weekend for my buddy Roman's first birthday. He turned 1 on Sunday, so I was happy for that. He's an awesome kid. That's it. That was our last show in July. We'll be back August 5th, I believe, at 6:30, and we'll be moving on to 24. Right, John?
Yes, we will be.
All right. That's it.
Sounds
Great
good.
show,
Good night.
guys. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank
Bye.
you.
See ya.
Good luck,
See ya.
Anthony.